share some key learning points that I wish myself I knew when I started out with asset management. So first of all, what is asset management? Well, asset management is the practice of systematically controlling and handling your assets from cradle to grave. Some may say they have a life cycle approach in handling their assets, and that's the same thing. So when I say assets, what do I mean? Well, assets are any physical object that provides significant value to your organization. So that could be, for instance, buildings, it could be supply systems or production equipment. So guys, I'll hope you stick around for the next couple minutes, as I will give you some pointers on where you can add significant value in your own organization. See you in a bit. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about learning point number one. And learning point number one is management support. And I know this is kind of cliche bringing up as number one, but for me, management support is the foundation for creating any results with asset management. So if you don't have the support from your management group, you will have a very long and lonely road towards creating any results. And there's a high chance that you will burn out even before you start. So how do we create management support? Here are some pointers. It's all about the why. Why are you implementing asset management in the first place? Try to ask yourself that. And in connection with that, talk about where your organization can benefit from the asset management principles. Remember, most high-ranked executives are interested in one thing and one thing only: cost reduction. So put yourself in their shoes and look into where you can make them happy. So while asset management is a proactive and long-term strategic approach in handling assets, you need to look into where you can create short-term wins. So when you create short-term wins, you convince decision makers that we can actually provide or create value with the use of asset management. So guys, remember the short-term wins. And even more importantly, celebration of the short-term wins. When we celebrate the short-term wins, we convince or show the stakeholders that their sacrifice in the asset management workload is not for nothing. It has actually created some kind of output in the organization, and that is very important for creating momentum in the asset management journey. So this brings me to the second learning point: data, data, and more data. We need data to become great decision makers around our assets. Without data, we're just a bunch of people with an opinion. So if you're not collecting data already on your assets, I would advise you to do so for your own sake. So here are some data you might find useful. Overall equipment efficiency, OEE for short. So basically what this tells you is, of all the available time you have, how much of that time are you actually running your equipment? So if you don't run your equipment for the majority of the available time, this might tell you that you're not running very efficient. Next thing is maintenance costs. So how much money are you spending on keeping your assets fully operational? The awareness of cost will allow you to see if something changes. If something changes, this could be an indication of an inefficient maintenance strategy, which of course needs to be changed. Same goes for maintenance resources. So how much time are you spending on keeping your assets fully operational? If you use more time than you used to, this should tell you that something is wrong and you have to act accordingly. So the last thing I want to mention is alarms and breakdowns. So how many alarms and breakdowns do we have, and which ones do we need to eliminate? So there you have it, guys. These were some examples of data you can use to create great decisions around your assets. So the third learning point is this: communication. This is probably where you will spend most of your time. You need to communicate on 3 levels: the strategic level, the tactical level, and the operational level. So here are some pointers on what to be aware of when you communicate on the 3 levels. On a strategic level, you need to convince top management what asset management can bring to the table. As I mentioned earlier, the main driver here is cost reduction. There are many other benefits to asset management, such as greater compliance, better services and output, or greater social responsibility. But the financial performance is what seems to sell best for top management. In a nutshell, they're here to serve some kind of purpose, and without the finances to back that up, they're pretty much dead in the water. Moving on to the tactical level, here we have most managers and leaders. Try to put yourself in their shoes and think of how asset management can benefit them. For the most part, they are either measured by costs, it could be availability, it could be a specific production number, or some other variation of an output. Let's take an example. We have a technical manager with the responsibility of some kind of equipment. What asset management can do for him is actually ensure that the reliability stays high on that equipment. And when the reliability stays high on his equipment, he ultimately is able to achieve his performance goal. And finally, the operation level. Here we have what I would call the most important people. These are the people that work very hard to maintain and operate your valuable assets. It could be operators, it could be technical staff, it could be maintenance personnel, etc. These guys can influence whether you succeed with asset management or not. They can ruin your day by not caring at all, or they can create substantial value by practicing the right mindset. Depending on the culture, either you have a lot of work or a crazy amount of work. Again, try to put yourself in their shoes. What's in it for them? And remember, people are generally motivated by 3 things. First thing, purpose. Having a purpose. What cause do they serve? So how can you promote asset management in favor of that overall purpose in your organization? Second thing, autonomy. People want autonomy to create a life that they want. So how can you promote asset management in favor of their work life? And the last thing, the third thing, mastering something, being good at something. So how can asset management principles or methods help these people to become even bigger experts in their area? So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. I wish you all a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.